Hello and welcome or welcome back. I'm your girl Kimberly Nicole and we are asking God rhetorical questions and we are at part 3. What y'all about to do is get this third part of these 45 lessons that I've learned in the last 45 years. So number 31, set goals, both long-term and short-term. So remember in the part 1, we talked about writing down your plans, just writing them in pencil. This kind of goes back to that in the same way as far as setting goals, as far as your long-term, short-term goals, whether it's buying a house, whether it's learning how to speak sign language, whether it's whatever your goals are, just set some goals, things that you want to accomplish. Just set goals. It was always good to set goals because now you have something to strive to in order to accomplish. It's always good to feel like you're accomplishing something. I set goals. I make plans. I set goals. I pray over my plans. I pray over my goals just to make sure that they are aligned with God. Most of the things that have come in my life in the last, I would say, for a few years, but I would say in the last 4 years, God has truly put those things in my spirit. And I've set goals and plans around those things. But and even the things, my goals that I wrote down this year were all tied to things that God gave me. And I just want to make sure that I'm accomplishing those goals because those are gifts that God gave me. And I want to see those things through and not just receive something from God and then just let it fall by the wayside. So set goals, again, long-term, short-term. And short-term could be 3 months, can be a year. Long-term can be 5 years, can be 10 years. So you set whatever that looks like for you, but just set goals. 32, your purpose can change or shift, right? So I think what I had to learn is certain parts of my life, I had a purpose at that moment. And in each part, in different stages in my life, my purpose changes. But my purpose always aligns to God's word and his will. So, but they can change and they can shift. So just be mindful of that. Don't feel like, oh, I'm no longer serving my purpose. You're just serving another purpose in another way. Again, when you stay aligned with God, then your purpose can change as long as it's still within God's will. That's what really matters. I still feel like I'm serving my purpose. I'm a helper by nature. I love helping people. I love helping the underdogs. That's just typically how I've governed myself over the years. And though what I thought I would be doing as far as serving my purpose has shifted and changed, the bottom line, the core of the purpose is still the same. I'm still helping people. 33. Oh, this is a one. People glamorize entrepreneurship, but it has been one of the hardest journeys of my life. Not bad, just really hard. So when people glamorize it and glorify it, like, oh, I'm an entrepreneur, child. Like, I don't even brag about that. Like, I work for so-and-so. Like, I'm a consultant. That's kind of what I tell people now. Like, I'm just saying I'm a consultant. I don't even go into I'm an entrepreneur because it just be too much. It's too much that goes into it. I'm grateful. I'm thankful for it. But it is definitely not the glamorous life whatsoever. It takes heart. It takes obedience. It takes sacrifice. It takes energy, time, prayer, cries, belief, money. It takes a lot to be an entrepreneur. So don't get caught up when people are telling you, oh, you should be an entrepreneur. I ain't working for nobody. There's nothing wrong with working for someone. I'm an entrepreneur and I hire people. People work for me. So we need people that work for people. Like, we need people that are good at what they're good at. If you're an accountant, be an accountant. You're going to work for somebody anyway. Like, yeah, I may be a client of yours, but you still technically work for me. In a sense, if you're going to be an accountant at a good company, whatever makes you happy. Just because you're an entrepreneur doesn't mean that's going to equate to happiness. Like, yeah, you can lose your job as an entrepreneur. You can lose your job any which way. All you can do is govern yourself accordingly. Treat people how they should be, how you will want to be treated. Again, being a good steward of your finances. So when God blesses you with a little, He can know He can trust you with a lot. Make smart decisions. don't let the hype fool you, because being an entrepreneur is not all it's cracked up to be. I've considered going back to work several times because it's less stressful. I just clock in, I clock out, somebody send me a paycheck. I mean, but even when I dusted off my resume, God said, no, it's not your time yet. Like, God keeps pushing me in other directions when I was pretty much like, okay, God, like, I don't know what's next on here, but let me dust off this resume just in case you tell me to go find a job, I'll be ready. And his next assignment was not for me to go find a job, but I wouldn't have been mad if he would have said, girl, go get a job. I wouldn't have been mad at it, because again, it's a lot of hard work, but it's not for the weak. It's not for the weary. If your head isn't in it, don't let somebody convince you that it's for you, period. My numbers are off. I think this is 34. Yeah, that was 33. Time is what connects you. Just because you've been with someone, platonic, intimate, a job, etc., doesn't mean you should stay there, right? So I think a lot of times people stay in situations, at jobs, in relationships, in situations because of the time that they have invested. And I would say don't get caught up on the time. If it's no longer serving its purpose, if it's no longer making you happy, if it's no longer fulfilling, if it's no longer aligned, if it's no longer in God's will, don't let the time that you put in be the reason why you stay in it, right? So, yeah, that's a big one. That's a very, very big, because I think a lot of people stay in situations just because they have so much time invested, and you know, time is one of the things you'll never get back. So that also brings me to making sure you're spending your time wisely, right? So that'll be 35. Spend your time wisely, and be intentional about how you spend your time so you won't have any regrets. And that's again in relationships, at jobs, or whatever, making sure you're getting something out of it. Like, just make sure you're spending your time wisely. You're getting something out of it in return, because time is one thing you do not get back. Be intentional about the time you spend. And these kind of piggyback off of some of the other things that I've mentioned about just, you know, taking time being by yourself, or no means no, or, you know, things that translate into you spending time or using your time. Your time is currency. So make sure you're spending your time wisely, right? Just think about that. Time is currency. So spend your time wisely. 36, listening is always the best option. You can decide how you will respond, how or if you need to respond simply by listening. Listening, or, you know, if it's a message, then read it into the message. And sometimes it's just listening, because listening can be, okay, they're talking, but they're not talking for me to respond, right? So if you have someone that's talking to you, or whatever the case may be, and they're just talking, and your job is to listen. Now, once they finish talking, now you can ask, hey, did you want my feedback, or you just wanted me to listen? That's always a safe space to be in, always a safe way to respond, because sometimes people just want you to listen and just want to talk. So you can always go with, do you want feedback, or you just want me to listen? Once they, you know, said whatever they're going to say, you know, just ask them. Most people say, oh, you know, no, I was just venting. Yeah, like, I don't need your 2 cents. Or they'll say, you know, sure, let me know if I was wrong in this. Let me know, blah, 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 blah. So always start with listening, because then again, you can figure out if it requires a response or if it doesn't require a response. 37, staying true to you. You are wonderfully made in the image of God's likeness. So you always want to be your most authentic self. I know people talk about it. They write books about it, how you can be it. But it simply is just not trying to be something you're not. It's as simple as, when you wake up in the morning, the person that you are is the person that you are. You don't have to, and I think social media has really altered that a lot. Because you see certain things, and I'm guilty of it too, to where I had to get off social media, because social media was not about to make me feel less than. Like, cut the crap, because I already know people are just hitting you with the highlights and they're miserable at the house, but they're gonna post all the time. They go on trips and post all the gifts and stuff that they get, and they're miserable at the house. So just being authentically you. And again, When that no is no, let it be no. Not no, oh, because girl, I got to do, and now you're lying, right? Because now you're trying to justify something, or you're afraid to address some people because of whatever reason. But just walk in your purpose and in your will and in your lane. Stay in your lane, and you ain't got to worry about running into the issue of trying to be somebody else. Just stay in the lane that you was assigned to. 38. Continue to learn and grow. And you can learn and grow through several ways nowadays. It's all kind of stuff you can learn and grow through, but sitting back, getting a good old fashioned book can help you. Taking a certain class can help you learn and grow. Doing some things, taking things back to the basics sometimes, it's just that simple. Taking a virtual online class or going on campus to a class. And I ain't saying like a class, but for those that follow me, I started taking sign language. And that has been a journey. I have learned and I have grown just by taking a sign language class. And so it's always good to just learn and grow. I was reading a book called Blink, and that helped me learn and grow. Just reading that book, it was just like, Lord, I didn't even know all this stuff existed in the world. But taking your time to learn and grow outside of probably the social media, like TikTok and all those things. YouTube though, because on YouTube you can definitely learn and grow, because YouTube people are teaching classes, they're showing you how to do all kind of things on YouTube. So tap into YouTube and get away from some of your normal things that you can do and actually look up something that can be beneficial to you. Be intentional. 39. Be intentional about trying new things. That ties back to kind of sort of the learning and growing. Be intentional about trying new things. Don't be afraid of it. Put a new thing on your list this year. If you don't have a goal list, think of something that you want to try that you can put on your list that will be intentional about trying something new. Whether it's cooking a different dish, a new dish, it could be something real foreign or something like that, where you have to go to the farmer's market to get the ingredients. Try a new recipe. Try taking a dance class. Try taking a piano lesson. Try taking a voice lesson. Try running a marathon. Like, just try something new, but be very intentional about trying something new. You'll be surprised at that feeling of accomplishment you have when you try something new. 40. Walk by faith and not by sight. I took what was it called? A gifts assessment, like identifying your gifts, when I first joined, when I did my new members classes at my church, Word of Faith. And my top 3 gifts was administration, leadership, and faith. And I operate in a very high faith capacity. Sorry, y'all, that's my hot water heater. Sorry, it's probably got a little loud. I don't know where my faith came from. I just think because I came up in such a way where I just didn't have, so I had to rely on God. Like, I just had to rely on God, because I have a maternal and a fraternal parents, but they were not reliable. Like, I could not rely on my parents. So I had to rely on my Heavenly Father. And once I got that relationship with God, probably around 25-ish, 27, between 25 and 27, when I really, really tapped into my relationship with God and just understood that He is my Father. That's, I think, has driven my faith, because I put my faith in Him. I seldom put my faith in man. And when I say man, I ain't talking about physical man, but like a person. I seldom put my faith in people. I've always put my faith in God. Not always, but I've definitely now put my faith in God. Now you have people, you expect people to do something. If they say, hey, I'm gonna do that, whatever. But so you can have expectations or whatever, but always put your faith in God and just know that you taking a step, He'll continue to guide you, because He lights your path, and you have to move in order for God to move you, right? He can't move you if you're standing still, but if you move, He can continue to guide your next step, but you have to take that first step. So you just have to, again, sometimes faith comes about, walking and not seeing. Yeah, faith is those things unknown. So, yeah, walk by faith and not by sight. 41, crying is a healthy cleanse. I cry all the time. I cry all the time. Sometimes they're happy tears. A lot of lately they have been just tears of gratitude and just thankfulness and knowing God comes through with his promises, knowing that he has come through with his promises for whatever the case may be. Or then I've cried when it's like moments where I know something has come to an end and it's hurtful or whatever the case may be, but I allow myself to cry. I don't hold back tears. I don't try to compose myself. If you watch my videos, you have seen me cry on several videos when I'm full and I know God is moving through me and I know he's doing his work. It's just taking his time. You've seen me cry. So I'm a firm believer in cleansing through tears. 40, I already wrote this one down, so it was fasting. I wrote that one twice. That's how important that one is. So 43 is make good investments. So that's one thing that I learned at 45 is making good investments, whether they are in home or whether they are in education, whether it's in an investment, a portfolio, whatever the case may be, just make good investments, sound investments. And again, it can be anything, but whatever you're spending your money on, just make sure that it's on solid ground. 44, be thankful. Be thankful for everything that you have and things that you don't have. Just be thankful. Show gratitude. Like, I can't stress that enough. Be grateful and thankful in all things. Yeah, in all things. Be grateful. I mean, it's self-explanatory. Be grateful in all things. And 45, I think this will be part of my top 3. I think between 1 and 3, I know I said when people show you who they are, believe them, and being a good steward over your finances. This one would be top 3 also, is be humble. Be humble. Humility will take you a mighty long way. Be humble. When God has gifted you with something, it is not up to you to be prideful and boastful. That is not the assignment. You humble yourself with those gifts that God has given you. You show humility and gratitude with those gifts that God has given you because they're not your own. You did not do anything on your own. You did not accomplish not one goal on your own. You are not anything without God. So if you do not humble yourself and be grateful and in all of the things, you are only being sinful and you're only disrespecting God. So be humble. I know that was a lot, but hopefully whoever is listening to this was able to take some notes on some things that were useful for them, whether you are already 45 or above 45 or you're not quite at 45. Maybe you can take some of these lessons that I've learned over the years and just be the best authentic version of yourself as possible. So again, that's the end of part 3. Hopefully I will see you all back. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. See you all on the next one. Bye.